Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Friday Night Lights series here for the Diet Soda Wars 250 here live on Maconi Entertainment. My name is Kirk Mills, and alongside me tonight will be Ron Mons up here in the booth, and we got our producer, Howie Burrows, going to be running along with us here this afternoon from Daytona, the absolute pinnacle of speed. Love this place. Ron, tell me, what's exactly the story going into this one?
Well, of course, the story is going to be the chase. We're now at the end of the regular season, and things have definitely settled down for those up at the top, but those farther back, it's where things get really, really tense. Of the drivers on the outside looking in, there's only one that can get their hand in the window. Seth Foudy, 5 points back, unfortunately, for Eric Wineland, Mason Lowry, and Cliff Mullins. Everybody else was maybe hoping for a little bit more cars so they'd have more opportunities to gain some points. Not going to be the case here, so it is locked. There's going to be Foudy and Foudy alone as the drivers looking to fight their way into the chase. But even for those drivers that are inside here currently, you look at the ones at the tail end, your likes of Casey Graves, Blake Kluwat, and Noah Woods. This is not going to be a very, very fun night for them. I would say stressful would probably be the better word to sum it up.
And some more news on this as well. You would see that the 5-car Bryce Reiner is actually not in the field tonight along with Truel. Both cars are not locked in, so there is a chance, depending on how this goes, they might not make it to the actual chase next week. We'll have to see how the finishing positions look, but for now, let's go ahead and take a look at the starting grid to get things ready here from Daytona. Well, while we're putting some WD-40 on those grinders, I can tell you right off the bat, this field is filled to the brim with about 32 total cars and only 31 real starters. Here we go. We are in the results section. There we go. Let's look at the qualifying list. Here we go. Starting on the top spot, you can see Bryson Hixenbaugh got the pole alongside Lucas Hoisma P2. Andrew Dyson. Actually, no, this doesn't make that. That's not the actual qualifying order. That is incorrect here. So, sorry, bear with us, guys. There we go. I think we got it now. Yeah, let's try it again. Daniel Wiles on the pole. He got it over Jacob Simpson by 4 1,000ths of a second. Lucas Hoitzma P3, 6 1,000ths of a second after that. Andrew Dyson running P4. 5th will be Bryson Hixenbaugh. Joseph McWhorter, P6. 7th will be Eric Wineland. 8th, Aiden Amaro. 9th, Tanner Marty, and Michael Mesnard in 10th.
Looking outside of your top 10 here tonight, Ralph Hutchinson and Adam Benefiel going to make up row number 6 here tonight. Daniel Llewellyn will start in lucky spot P13 next to Wesley Napier in the number 95 machine. Charles Eaton in the 75 will start this race in P15. Next to him will be Kevin Zosiak. Casey Graves, one of those drivers in just by the skin of his teeth, is currently slotted in 17th. William Owens will start this race in P18. Noah Woods starts in P19 with Seth Foudy, the driver on the outside looking in, completing your top 20.
21st, Michael Deach, right alongside Bill Hull, 22nd. 23rd, Matthew Blackley, with 24th being Blake Kluwat. Jarrett Grodzicki starting P25. 26th is Matthew Boston Wheeler, and then the rest of the folks did not qualify. 27th, Devin Medeiros, followed by Mason Lowry, Tim Phillips. Jedi Taylor is actually not racing tonight. He accidentally joined on the wrong thing there. So we got finally our final starter of the night. Looks like that is going to be Brian Wertman and Steve Benjamin, 31st, 32nd, respectively. So let's go ahead and get started. We got the drivers currently on the grid in pit road right now as we speak. And the big story here is just going to be able to have attrition as we go along. But that pole speed barely hung on. Daniel Wiles on the top spot. He's going to have himself a lovely day trying to go for his first win of the season.
Yeah, and Wiles has been one of the feel-good stories as we have gone throughout this championship, one that started here at Daytona all the way back on a cold February day. Now we're here in the dog days of summer, and these drivers looking to round it off. Wiles already a lock into the chase, but it would feel real good to end off this regular season with that first trip into victory lane at tonight's race. And speak of the devil, Kirk, I'll let you run through the race information, some of the nooks and crannies as we head off into tonight.
100 laps, not a very long race. You got 30 laps stage 1, 60 laps stage 2, and then you got a 40 lap dash to the finish. Remember, we got that new rule in place where if you guys get a caution with 10 laps or less to go in the stage, that is considered the stage. So that is going to be something interesting as you see a plane landing just over the horizon behind the catch fence there on the top left. Drivers heading down the back straightaway. Lights are off on the pace car. We are good to get things started, but we got a ways to go to get to the front. Remember, 4 tire sets in the big story, 17x incident limit. They have raised it up. So we might see a little more carnage than what we might be used to. We hopefully will see a great race. Nonetheless, the pace car leading them down the back straightaway into turn number 3 in the most historic racetrack in Florida, in my opinion here. I got to tell you that. And, man, you got Wiles, Simpson up front. These guys are going to have a really difficult day today trying to hold off all these hard-charging cats behind them. But that pace car is going to head out of turn number 4. Watch that white pace car decide to go ahead and make a left turn here in just a second to get this thing started. Man, I'm getting excited. We've had a few weeks off, hadn't had a chance to be racing, but we're here. The last race before the chase. Who's going to get in? Who's not? Pace car to pit road. Reach down. Pull them belts tight. One more time from Daytona through that restart zone. Biggity, biggity, biggity. Let's go racing, boys. Down the back straightaway for the first time today. Up front, Daniel Wiles able to hang on to it, trying to lead the bottom lane with a push from Lucas Hoytsma at the top side. Dyson pushing Simpson.
Yeah, Dyson up through this pack right now, holding on to that spot there on the high side. The high spot is always where these drivers who are feeling a bit more adventurous usually end up migrating. I believe it was Kevin Harvick who said at one time that he always hated the high side because there was nowhere to go when stuff just so happened to hit the fan. Right now, we're running smooth here at the start of this second lap, but those drivers on the high side clearly making a statement right now. They're not going to settle for second here tonight.
At least not so far. Already up to speed now as they head down the back straightaway for the second time today. You can see cars still just going 2 wide. Not really much 3 wide action that I could see throughout the field. Everybody just staying in their lane, kind of just trying to feel out the cars. It's been a while since they've been in the cars, racing around each other. A few weeks since the last time they were around, and especially in a super speedway situation. Daytona, this takes a lot of practice, a lot of mental acuity to be able to figure out the right line to get into. And as they cross the line to start lap 3, they just got to figure out when are they going to start making that third lane happen, or are they just going to stay side by side like this 2 wide?
I'll tell you what, making a third lane here on lap 3 would certainly be bold. And maybe a little bit brash. I also feel like it'd not really be the smartest of moves here at the start of this race. These drivers are still trying to work up to it. You know, there's not a lot of pacing that he can do here at Daytona at the start of this race because there are always drivers that are definitely a little bit touchy, especially here at the summer days, trying to end off this regular season on the best note, even for these drivers up the front that are pretty well locked in. However, you've still got to work up to it. You cannot just walk out of bed, well, really roll out of bed and immediately try running a marathon. That's not what you can do, and in the racing world, you can't really do that. You can't go 3 wide here on lap 3 at Daytona. These drivers maybe going to do it a little bit later on. They're probably going to do it a little bit later on, but for now, may as well just slowly settle into this.
Yeah, I think that what you're going to notice is the handling is going to start going off quite differently per the cars. Everybody's going to try and make as much ground as they can. I just saw Tanner Marty get really tight heading up the hill on the exit of that last corner. And he's just got to be careful. But now Simpson leads the outside line, and now he's kind of got control. He can go down to the bottom, block the bottom line if he so chooses. He can go to the top, different lines, whatever they choose to do. But remember, we're trying to race all the way to lap 30. So I don't expect to see any real pit stops during this time. Should just be clean and green. But the moves from the back to the front to get stage points, I think we're only really going to see out of a handful of drivers. Those drivers being Foudy, Woods, Fluot, Graves. Those cars need all the points they can get in this race, and they got to get to the front. And the biggest story, I think, out of all of them right now is looking at that 77. He's back in P22. He is on the outside looking in. He needs to get from the back to the front, and he needs to do it quick.
You know, those drivers farther towards the back looking to punch their way into the postseason here. They've been handed a Phillips head, essentially, and, you know, they're just saying, screw it. You've got to try and go for it here in this event. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You know how I was just talking how these drivers have to work themselves up to this race, kind of build up the courage? Those drivers behind, they're not rolling out of the bed straight into a marathon. They're, you know, still lying in bed and somebody's walking up to them and tasing them. They're going to have to fight back real quick here, and making a statement in this first stage can really be a tone setter throughout the rest of the night. If you start off this race really in trouble, that's not really boding well for the rest of the journey now, is it?
Yeah, absolutely not. But you can see the 73 of McWhorter. He tried to go up to the outside and make a third line there with Aiden Amaro. Did not work. He could not get any runs on the 41 of Dyson. Could not make it 3 wide quite yet. Keep an eye on that 73. I think he's interested in trying to make a third lane work here early on.
It's already a little bit of experimentation going down right now, and I appreciate this. I said that these drivers would be settled down at the start, and that still is the case, but they're going to try and figure out what works and what will not, even here in the early stages. You know, this is one of those races where, in terms of evolution throughout this event, there isn't a whole lot of it. Yes, we are starting off in the sunset and running farther along into the night. It's not like we're starting off in the middle of the day and then running off into the evening, though, so it's not really the greatest change in the world when it comes to track conditions. It's really just, you know, learning with your competition, knowing what works and what doesn't. As right now, look at that, already threading the needle, hanging out to dry. There's a 41 of Andrew Dyson, and that was Joseph McWhorter who hung him up there with the hanger.
Saw that coming from a mile away. You could see him. He tried it once earlier, didn't work, but this time it worked when he got to the inside of the 41. Now he's blinking out. You can't see the car. That's when things get dangerous. Also a bad push from Hoitzman to the back bumper. The 88 of Wiles almost sent him around. Saved the car in the tri-oval. You're going to have little moments like that, and any sort of blip or moment where you're gone from the track is a risk, a huge risk. So you got to be very careful when you're driving up front and the pushes that you give to the car in front of you.
As I'm already seeing these drivers go for the jugular right now. We know the kind of driver that Joseph McWhorter is. He's a bit on the aggressive end. He's going to try and get the results whenever he can. And so far this season for your reigning champ, I would say it has been an improvement overall compared to how things were looking around this point in 2025. But, you know, he's still looking for a little bit more. Only one race win so far here this season, a litany of good results, and a solid points position as we get to the end of the regular season here tonight. But I think notching up a second win before this regular season is done is probably on the agenda for McWhorter tonight.
Oh, he'd love to do it, that's for sure. But what I can tell you is I'm starting to see a very disorganized pack at the tail end of this thing. I'm seeing in the corners, they kind of don't stay in the lanes. They're kind of all over the place. And that eventually will lead to a bad checkup timing and might lead to 3 wide. If you look in the corner back here, my goodness, they're just all over the dang racetrack throughout the middle part of this field. They're not nose to tail. There's like each lane, each car is like a half car length to the inside, half car length to the outside of the car in front. Just real dangerous. Gotta be real careful when that happens. Not really organized back here where you're looking like the 91 of Michael Deach, 10 car of Matthew Boston Wheeler, Blackley, this area back here. Seth Foudy, who needs to have a good day today to make the chase.
And again, going back to the discussion of these drivers looking to punch their way into the chase, having to roll out of bed and getting tased in the process, it is a jump scare for these drivers in this event to think, okay, because they know what they have to do. The mind of a racer, you're always going to work at the permutations in your own head, either during the event or even before it. So many of these drivers know what's at stake. They know what they have to do. They can blank it out of their head as long as they want. But if there's one thing that a racing driver, virtual or real life, can do best, it is overthink things. That's probably the reason why I overthink basically every single thing that comes out of my own mouth.
Well, I can tell you right off the bat, man, I don't think there's much overthinking going on the racetrack other than the 20 car. He got up in a wall a little bit on the entry to turn one last time. And one thing I'm really worried about here, Ron, if you take a look at this, is that looking at this entire grid, there is not that many big movers. Not at all. The most I've seen is maybe 4 or 5 spots. Oh, we got a problem. Big checkup on the outside, 3 wide all over the place. Look out on the racetrack. The 37 involved, a few more cars also got up the hill. That's going to create some big movers. Let's take a look and see what the heck happened back here. On to turn number 3. Oh my goodness. Luckily, I don't think it was too big damage for anybody.
Oh.
They all were able to hang on to it, but Aiden Amaro had to check up. He tried to go up the block, the 41. 41 was there, contact. They all kept it straight, and we are still green. Everybody in the lead pack still. Nobody has lost the draft.
Yeah, there's a code brown moment for the 95 farther in the back as we take a look to see that incident there. As a look at the 95. Oh, boy, my goodness me. Wiggling around like Jello on top of a washing machine there, Kirk, my God.
Yep, not necessarily a fun situation at all. We are back to live now, and as you can see, the front has shuffled up quite a bit. Hoytsma, now the new leader at the current moment, leading this thing in the 97. He is one of the best ever to run at super speedways in the full-length Cup Challenge and Friday Night Lights Series. That 97 is so hard to beat. He's won at Talladega. He's won at Atlanta or Echo Park, whatever you want to call it. You know, the thing is that he's going to have someone to push him right now pretty good. That 22 is a great pusher. But if you look back further, what we're looking at here is the distance between the 35 and the 83. And further back, the 91. This is a huge amount of momentum closing in on this. These guys got the draft. They're getting a huge push. When they get there, they got to either lift or find a place to go with it. And I think that now we kind of got a separation of 2 different packs.
Yeah, we've got a little wedge drawn throughout this field right now. These competitors, some of them either as a result of that incident or just a result of their own self-preservation skills, I'd maybe say is a better idea, saying, nope, I'm good. No, thank you. I don't want any part to do with this. Here at the halfway mark of this first stage, for some competitors, really the stage points aren't going to make that much of a difference. Even if it's not a matter of them making it into the chase or not, some drivers just looking for a trip into victory lane, they're not really going to care about this portion of the race. They're just going to try and keep their nose clean so they can be there towards the end.
We got a little bit of an issue, though, for the driver of the 14, Blake Cluot. He's on the, remember, he is leading the second pack. He's got to stay in the lead draft. He cannot afford to not get stage points here, or at least not be towards the front. He is in a position 24th right now. And the thing is that he needs to get back up towards the front. It's where he started, but he's got a ways to go to try and catch this pack again.
As a bad news for Daniel Llewellyn, he's picked up a connection flag here. Unfortunate. Daytona, one of his better tracks here in this series, was able to score a race win in the fall the winter Daytona race back last season. Unfortunately, connection meatball flag, rather newer phenomenon here on iRacing. If your connection is bad enough for long enough, iRacing will send you back to pit lane. So unfortunately, Llewellyn picking up that falling anvil here at this early stage of the race, as we're just now getting into the second half of stage numero uno.
Yep, up front, some changes has occurred. Hoytsma dropped back to 5th. New leaders, it's Daniel Wiles, Hicksonbaugh, and Tanner Marty in the 29 moves up to the top 3 with William Owens' teammates sitting right there. Got 2 teammates up front with Team Conti Sim Performance, and then he got 2 more teammates right there running with the 29 and that 30 car, working together a little bit in this particular series right now. And that's with Lunar Racing Performance both working together.
Yeah, now we get into the wonderful discussion with plate racing, that being teammates. And, one thing that I think has kind of, I wouldn't say infected with plate racing in real life over the past couple of years is the manufacturer alliances that force everybody to clump together, especially in the Cup Series. Here in iRacing, though, you've got the teammates all working together, trying to get through this race at their own pace, run their own race. A lot of these drivers practice together as well, which can make a a world of difference to be able to not only think about what sort of game plan that you have, be able to act on it throughout this event, but have practice there as well. Makes a world of difference. That's one of the things that the series admins like to teach these drivers about: practice. Practice makes perfect. But for some of those independents, it may be a little bit harder. Eric Weinland currently in the same chat with Kevin Zosiak, but certainly wasn't working with the cars right behind him as he jumped up to the high side. Now is the Pied Piper of that little topside pack right in front of the 97 of Lucas Hoytsma.
Doing some calculations on the current running positions of these guys, and it looks like right now if Foudy is to stay where he is, he's in a great spot to make it to the next round. Absolutely, for sure. He's in a good spot. It changes lap after lap, so remember, we got a long way to go. We'll do an exact count at the actual stage, but for now, he's in a good spot. He just needs to maintain and hope those other guys don't gain much. The outside line is dying, absolutely falling off. You can see it's gotten all the way back to behind Casey Graves in the 01, and Wineland's currently leading the outside against Mesnard on the bottom. And you kind of got this 6-car breakaway in front of this, all single file. You got to be careful. You don't want that 6-car pack to just scoot away if you're the rest of the field.
Yeah, that top side has totally flopped. Absolute L crash out at the moment. Back. I'm sorry. I guess maybe that comment that just came out of my mouth was so disgustingly horrific that top side is looking to play me like a fiddle and prove me wrong. You know, the tides of one of these plate races almost move like the tides of the ocean
current. Sorry, big back push. There we go. 22's in the wall, 19's around the 77 of Foudy's involved. Spinning down to the inside, big problems. You can see Napier involved, more and more cars sliding. This all started from a bad push to the back bumper of Casey Graves that sent him around and caused a big slide on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and let's figure out, like a pack of dominoes, down they all fall. It was a bad push in the stack up going on throughout the field. It's like a traffic jam on a highway, but the consequences are far more dire here. Gotta wonder what the state of affairs is for that number 77 car of Seth Foudy. Let's take a look at his perspective in all this. There you can see black and white right up in front. Trying to see, because he did get hit multiple times, gets clobbered by the 19, nearly gets clobbered once again by the 83 of Adam Benefiel, and then gets hit once more by the 19. So it was 2 bits of contact with the exact same car, but it was a very awkward angle on the first one. I think that may have clipped the rear end housing. If that bent something in the suspension, that could be game, set, match for the driver looking to pull off the impossible and break his way off into the chase this year. He's been so impressive throughout the season, but unfortunately the luck may have just run dry.
I'm looking at it right now. I think that right rear has a little bit of a problem, big time problem actually, suspension wise. Zoomed in on it, it has a little bit of an inward tilt. A little bit worried for that car, but the 19, big front end damage. The 31, a lot of cars just went for a slide. The 83 though, if we can go with him, 83 at Benefield, he kind of had an odd drive through of that. And that is not the stage. This is not the stage. It'd be the 83, I believe. There we go. Not the stage. So this is going to be the crazy look right here. You're on board with his nose here. Let's see if we can get in his cockpit. I think is going to be quite the view. There we go. So you see the checkup. Nose damage goes down. Oh, look out. And then it's not over yet. He's got to go back up the racetrack. He has a lot of speed. He's going through the grass. He's sliding. And then he hits his teammate.
Whoa.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
See, I was going to compliment the Matrix maneuvers there at the start, but then the impromptu lawn mowing hang downtown into turn number 3 and 4. That would have been cool if his teammate wasn't there on the other side. It was cool until it suddenly wasn't. I'll give that overall probably a 6.5 out of 10. The initial dodge definitely makes up for the later contact.
Yeah, I'm looking here at the actual crash again one more time to count the number of cars that were involved. It was quite a numerous crash. A lot of them got front and rear nose damage. It all started at the front with Eric Wineland in the 21 machine, giving a bump to the back bumper of the 01, sent that 01 sideways down into the side of Charles Eaton. That's 3 cars. And then a checkup event with the 97, the 22, the 73, and the 19 with the 32 of Aiden Amaro. It looks like that we're up to a little over 13 cars is what I'm counting here that have damage, but I don't see a single one of them that has huge damage. I think that all of this damage is repairable. I don't think anybody should be out of the race from what I've seen. But definitely some repairs are going to be necessary for most of these cars to get back to competitive speed, especially for Foudy, who needs to be going for his chance at making it into the chase. You can see cars not coming down pit road. Some cars choosing to go down pit road. 16th on down came down. Hoytsma, Wheeler, Blackley, Krzyzewski. Everybody else on the left side stayed out, including Wiles, Hicksonball, Marty, Owens, Graves, Eaton, Weiland, Mesnard, Deitch, and lower your top 10. The rest of the field from 10th on back to 15th also staying out as well. Now, we're right now in a position that's a little awkward for some of these guys. They were a lap away from being able to call it the stage, but we did not quite get there, so this is not the stage. The next caution will be the stage. We got still some cars coming down pit road, including the 19, including the 41. Both cars got damage in that last wreck, and it kind of shook up the entirety of the lineup, but we're going to get one to green this time, so we're going to get the green flag with about 7 or 6 laps to go in the stage. What did you think about all that there, Ron?
Oh, that's specific. I gotta say, honestly, so far in this race, we've seen these competitors be a lot more aggressive than I was maybe expecting them to. We saw some very close moments, obviously some very awkward bumps that unfortunately resulted in that big one there. Can we call that a big one with 13 cars? Yes. It's a solid chunk of the field, so I guess we'll say that. In terms of car numbers, I guess it would be a large one, but percentage-wise for the rest of the field, I would say it's a big one. But either way, certainly had some big ramifications on the rest of this event. Some very good cars damaged in that incident. So I feel like it changes the dynamic here in this event. So as much as we've already seen some aggression, I feel like a lot of that will be shelved. This yellow flag has been a big reset, so even though we're only going to have about 7 laps left to go here in this stage, I think these drivers maybe are just going to take it a little bit easier. Although it's a prediction from me, so watch it age like milk in the Floridian sun.
Well, time will tell. That's the best way to look at it. We're going to get this restart here just shortly. Your front row, again, Wiles and Hicksonball, both teammates up front, having themselves a good old time, trying to lead this field, control the moment, the situation. You got some lunar cars right behind with Tanner Marty and William Owens, and then the rest of the field's following around in tow. All cars except for 2 are on the lead lap. That is Brian Workman 1 lap down and Daniel Llewellyn 7 laps down. We're about to get back underway through the restart zone. We are back racing here at Daytona.
Wiles a union buster right now, already playing scab and dumping down there onto the bottom. Hicksonball now got to be the pusher to him. Wiles wants to win this race. That is a certainty. As you can see further there in the back, I believe William Owens also cutting down there onto the bottom as well. That top side falling off.
Got a car sideways in the back. It's Wesley Napier sliding down the racetrack. He was involved with the 83 of Adam Benefield. No caution. They stay green. Adam Benefield, though, off the pace, losing the pack. And same thing with Hutchinson and a large number of other cars falling out of the draft.
Yeah, so as I said, the drivers weren't going to be aggressive on that restart. They were aggressive on that restart. Thankfully, we're not going to have another one, though, at least in quick succession, and we won't end this stage just like that. So now we've got a little fight on our hands with 4 very interesting cases up at the front, really 5 for that matter. Daniel Wiles, race-winning speed in many occasions throughout this season. Bryson Hicksonball, multi-time race winner here in this series, doesn't really need too much of an introduction. Tanner Marty has an interesting ride so far here in 2026. In that number 29 machine. William Owens, a little bit more of a quiet effort. Michael Deitch and Casey Graves are side by side right now, trying to make up the rest of your top 6 here currently. 2 very interesting cases in their own right.
Just for the folks curious as to what happened with the 2 cars, Wesley Napier and Bryson Hicksonball. Bryson Hicksonball had tried to make a move up to the outside to make a 3-wide pass. and Napier just came up and blocked him, and that block ended up turning him. So it was absolutely a avoidable crash. You're going to see a checkup from the 95. The 83 will go to the top. And when that happens, 83 just holds his line. He did nothing wrong here. He's trying to go to the outside, and 95 just goes up and sends him around. Luckily, no other cars involved. Very close for McWhorter and Llewellyn. They're able to keep it going. Few cars drop off the tail end of that line. But up front, it is a clear benefit to be in that bottom lane. It looks like the top 6, yet again, have pulled out to a single file line, and they are taking advantage of the opportunity that's presented to them. Leading this race, lap 26.
Yeah, so the bottom side is the popular side right now. Daniel Wiles, Pied Piper of the pack, leading this race. Hicksonball, though, you got to wonder what Hicksonball may do here in this stage. I don't think he's really going to fight for it too hard, because what does he really have to gain in trying to take that? As it stands in the points, he holds on to the points lead in the regular season, and it would have to be a disaster for him and a miracle for Benefiel for it to be a swap-a-roo up in the front. Fortunately, in the case of Bryson Hicksonball, it's kind of been the opposite. We saw the 83 of Benefiel get involved in that incident. He's a little bit farther behind. Hicksonball's still got a clean race car, so really there's not a lot in it for him to try and fight for this stage win, but they're racing drivers. You can't really tell a racing driver to take it easy, because chances are they're probably going to do the exact opposite.
Well, folks, it looks like, looking at the current positions on the racetrack, it is a close battle, folks. Very close for the cut line. Just ever so slightly. Wood sitting out. Foudy currently in. That will change as we continue to go on. 3 wide at the tail end of that first pack. Looks like the 75 of Eaton getting shuffled out top line. Out of and further back. Oh, look at Bill Hull getting loose there on the outside, almost causing a wreck with both the 77 and the 14. Both cars able to keep it straight. Still 3 wide behind them, though. And they only got 3 laps here before the end of the stage. This is what it's all about. You got to get all you can get. You got to get to that top 10. Foudy's currently 9th. Kluot's currently 10th. Those 2 cars are going to be the ones that are going to be battling for all they can get to make it into the chase. They cannot allow each other to get in any other position. The 77 cannot let the 14 go. The 14 has to get by the 77 to help his odds.
Yeah, I saw the 97 there of Lucas Hoytsma jump up onto the high side with a pretty aggressive maneuver there, trying to make anything work there to jump his way up towards the front of the pack. I gotta say, these drivers have been a lot more aggressive than I thought they would have been here in this first stage. They've basically been juggling, they've been juggling Molotov cocktails in a furnace right now. I'm waiting to see which one ends in flames, as we nearly saw it happen heading into 1.
77 got a bad shot from the 14 of Kluot. Gave him a bad bump, and that got him real loose, and he went below the double yellow trying to save it. Absolutely okay when he's trying to save the race car. He did not advance his position. He is fine to do that. Absolutely cannot advance your position below that double yellow line. That's the biggest rule right there you got to pay attention to. And these checkups are going to be something to keep an eye on. It's so difficult to be able to anticipate when they show up. A lot of the guys are running half throttle right here on the bottom lane. There goes the 14 up to the top lane. He's trying to make his move.
And so with 1 lap left to go here in this stage, these drivers looking to do what they can with whatever they can do. You mentioned the yellow line controversy and the yellow line rule. That's going to be a little bit tricky later on here in this race. Not sure if it'll rear its head. About as complex as an insurance policy as we see them head their way down the super stretch.
For the stage win right here, the 63 giving a shot to the back bumper. The 88 got nobody pulling out yet. There goes someone. Michael Deach with the 20 car. Medeiros going up to the outside, trying something, trying to get a little bit more ground up. That bottom line behind them, though, is closing. But coming out of turn number 4, here comes Hicksonball to the outside for the stage win. He's trying to get there. He's on a side draft. It's going to be a photo at the line. Hicksonball. Wiles by 4 1,000ths of a second. 4 1,000ths of a second. He hangs on. Ever so close.
Yeah, and let's run this back, the showdown to the line. Hicksonball pulls out, tries to get that side draft as strong as it is here in these cars, and you can see how close it was as they head their way towards the line. 4 thousandths of a second here at Daytona in these O'Reilly cars. Looks a little bit like... there it is. Couple of inches, I would say. About 8 inches, we would say.
Very close. Yep. So we're going to take a quick step aside here, and when we come back, we'll go ahead and re-rack them, take a look at some paint schemes, and then get ready for the restart. You're watching Maconi Entertainment. We'll be right back shortly. All right, welcome back, folks, to Maconi Entertainment's Friday Night Lights series, here live tonight from Daytona for the Diet Soda Wars 250. And a lot of cars chose to come down pit road, but the top 5 chose to stay out. And out of those top 5, I'm trying to look at race cars with different paint schemes for sodas today. I see the first one I see is Grodzicki here. He's got himself an Arizona paint scheme for the 31 car. Looks like on the front of it, it's a half and half iced tea lemonade looking paint scheme here. Not too shabby. You can see that right there as we zoom in on it. He's the first one I saw. Arnold Palmer. Yep, good point. All right, further back. Looks like Slurm. There we go, Slurm. That's Hicksonball. This is the next one I see. There we go.
I have never heard of that before in my life. It looks... Oh, we looked into hell there for a second. I think I saw some of my old school teachers. I have never heard of this before. It sounds highly addictive. It also sounds like it's made out of pure chemical waste.
Well, Blake Kluwat's the next one on the list, the 14 car. They're going with a Coca-Cola Home Depot paint scheme. Very cool.
Bear.
Polar bear, absolutely. Then after that, it looks like the next one that I see on the list is going to be a Pepsi machine from Michael Mesnard. Zero sugar Pepsi. Michael Mesnard in the 35. There we go. Got it. So that's him. Zero sugar. Yeah, another Pepsi car. Pepsi. Jacob Simpson in the 22. Just base Pepsi.
We can call him the Pepsi man tonight.
Well, there's two Pepsis here. You got to be careful. And looking for the rest. I also see Tim Phillips with the Sundrop car in the 27 machine. There he is. And Dale Jr.'s Sundrop look. And as we go further back. Oh, I cannot say that. But yeah, there you go. All right. Let's go ahead and get going. We're going to get this restart underway. You saw all them sodas on it. Them folks that do all the paint schemes, you do a fantastic job out there. Love looking at them. Got the pace car into the pit road. We're going to get this thing back underway and take a look up front. Matthew Blackley, Lucas Hoitzma, side by side. Hoitzma, the control car, back underway, outside line with a good jump. Up to speed, down the back straightaway. The start stage 2, single file line on the bottom seems to be the preferred lane.
Yeah, that it absolutely is right now. That bottom lane has been dominant throughout this event. Side note there for Andrew Dyson, piss water is a real soda. It's called Diet Mellow Yellow. Looking at Hoitzma, though, the Pied Piper of this pack, I think that number 97 car is looking to make a statement here in tonight's event. He's been a multi-time race winner already here this season, just hasn't had consistency on his side. Despite having the most wins out of anybody so far here this season at 5, he sits 6th in the points heading off into tonight's race. Actually, behind Daniel Wiles, who is winless through to this point in the championship. I think Hoitzma, although he can't fix the inconsistency that has already dogged him in the regular season, I think a 6th win would be quite nice here in this race.
Daytona's a racetrack where anybody can win given the right circumstances. It's a little different than every other track. Normally the best car, best driver normally has a chance to win, but now it's best car, best driver, a little bit of luck on your side. You're going to need that a lot to make it happen. And up front, Hoitzma has a lot of dang talent when it comes to this type of track, and he makes sure that the odds stay on his side. The outside line, though, being led by Woods is just very unnaturally loose. 20 car, Madeiro's trying to push that car forward, but it looks like he just gets loose every time he gets on the back bumper. He's all over the place.
Yeah, about as loose and wiggly as a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man falling down a flight of stairs here right now, and that can kill you on one of these plate races. We've already seen bad bumps cause a multi-car accident and hang down the back straightaway, and I'm going to say this in absolute sheer confidence, only 37 laps into this 100-lap long race. It is far from the last time that we're going to see something like that. These drivers have got to have a lot of confidence whenever they do put the bumper to one another.
77 looked almost trying to go 3 wide almost for a second back there. Oh, there goes the 19 up the hill. He had gotten out of the bottom lane and went up to the top line. He wants to lead the outside line. So now Hutchinson trying to lead the outside line side by side with Wiles back there for 5th right now, the top 4 single file. The outside line's starting to get a little bit more organized, but they need to stay close together, single file. They need to push each other, work together. It's not going to work otherwise. And look at the 56 go, trying to make it 3 wide. Oh, he gets him loose. Big checkup on the outside line. Look out. The 56 is sideways spinning into the outside wall. Big checkups. 91 big damage. More cars sliding. The 53 Benjamin sliding. 2 cars having to go through the pit road. That is the 75 of Charles Eaton and the 32 of Aiden Amaro. Multiple cars with damage. No caution yet. The 95 of Wesley Napier. Heavy right front damage.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. The 53, Steve Benjamin, star award to him for an almighty save, but there was contact made, a bad bump, a terrible bump, really. Those drivers, I think at least a 56 and 0 would show probably known a little bit better than that, as Eric could see right there at the back, a shot the 53 with that absolutely amazing save. Got clipped by two cars running down the track and somehow kept it going in a straight line. You know, this has been a far messier start than I certainly had in mind, and certainly these drivers, as we take a look at the 53. Not only did he save that, he also avoided getting bodied by any more cars.
With that incident, that is going to cause the top 8 to scoot away in a single file line. Nobody connected to them. And those top 8 are, just for folks know, it is Lucas Hoytsma, Matthew Blackley running P2 after starting 23rd. Jarek Grodzicki, who started 25th, is up to the P3. Andrew Dyson's 4th. Daniel Wiles 5th. 6th is Matthew Boston Wheeler. And Bryson Hicksonball is in 7th with Ralph Hutchinson running P8. Next car in line would be Kevin Zosiak running back in P9 just behind them. Multiple cars trying to catch back up. Kluot is one of those cars that's kept up with them, is currently in 11th place. And he's got to remember, he's got to be trying to beat Seth Foudy, who has fallen back to 18th.
And I love me a plate race when a few drivers are left behind when everybody else kills each other farther in the back. It's like a shootout in the line of a Target on Black Friday.
Going to have these large gaps between the race cars right now. You got these gaps are going to be almost insurmountable. Down the back straightaway, though, there's going to be a lot of pushing that's going to happen. These guys are probably just under the impression that their stage pretty much just ended. That's the mentality for these guys that are like Seth Foudy right here, 16th. He's going to have some great pushes to be able to catch back up, and some great pushers to make it happen. It's so difficult to make up that ground. When you're looking at the speed of like Mason Lowery, currently leading one of the further back packs, he's running 187, as the leaders are running speeds of 185, 186. So maybe slight gains here and there, but it's just a matter of time to see if they're able to make up that ground. They have 7 seconds for that third pack to catch them, and 2.5 seconds for the second pack with Kevin Zosiak and Blake Kluot to catch up.
Yeah, I think honestly for those packs behind, reverse psychology is always a good thing in the other world of racing. It's something that many competitors use. If those drivers want to have a shot of at least contending for this stage victory, they're probably going to have to crash again and bring out a caution. That's basically their only path forward from here, because making up that time, unless you go the full Michael Waltrip racing route and, pump your cars up with jet fuel, you're probably not going to have much of a shot to close up that margin. That can be done in the remainder of this stage, but you can also sell off your assets by nothing but scratch off lottery tickets and come out on the other side with no fingernails, but come out on the other side a millionaire.
I worry about you. That's all I got to say. Good guy.
I worry about myself, your point being.
Don't worry about it. I think that one thing you guys got to pay attention to right now is the fact that second pack's not even catching them right now. Benefield's one of the better pushers out there, and they're struggling to try and catch back up to him. They will gain here and there, but they also lose time back. They got to catch up if they want to be able to get some more stage points other than just 1 or 2. Not going to be really that big of a deal now that we're going to reset the points at the end of the race here. So I guess it's not going to really be that big of a swing for him. But Hoytsma in control here on lap 44 into lap 45. Remember, we're racing right now to get to lap number 60. That is the goal. So about 15 or so laps, and we'll see how they end up. I got to ask you here, Ron, when you're in this, do you have a lot of experience racing in this type of style of Talladega and Daytona where you get spread out like this?
I will say in confidence that I have commentated more of it than I have driven, but I do have an okay amount of experience running in plate racing.
I got to ask you this. I mean, from my experience, I've won at both Daytona, Talladega, and Echo Park. These racetracks, in order to win, Would you think it would be difficult for these guys to have to just accept that they're probably not going to catch him by the end of the stage? Or do you think that these guys are like full bore, going 100% trying to catch all they can? I think the second pack has a shot, but if you're a driver like Seth Foudy, William Owens, Joseph McWhorter, you're in a really rough spot.
You know, really, there is a little bit of, I wouldn't say admission of guilt, but admission of not exactly failure, but just
defeat.
You know, a temporary truce, I think would probably be the other better way to sum it up. And one of the cars I get to cover a whole lot here on iRacing, it's away from the realm of stock cars, but the Formula V, it's a very, draft heavy car. Doesn't matter what kind of track you're running around. In many cases, there will be some sort of incident, some sort of tussle, or maybe a battle that just results in one of those packs being split. And for the drivers behind, they have to tackle the race in a very different manner if they are running just out there, for lack of a better term, on their own island. So right now, these racers, I would say their best path forward to get to the end of this stage will be just kind of, taking it easy, rolling with the punches, I think would probably be the best way to describe it, because there's not a whole lot else that you can control at the present moment.
Well, I think something just really important happened in that second pack with something they can control. They were able to get the 37 of, I believe that was the Love Bug there, the Ladybug, whatever it was, the 37 car of Zodiac out of the way to the back of that line. And now we got a new pusher, which is Casey Graves and Adam Benefield. Both cars are fantastic drivers on this type of racing, but it's incredibly dangerous to do it fast. Very high chance of making mistakes, so keep an eye on these two. One bad push, problems can occur. You got to be real careful when you're trying to catch up to the back of the field.
Yeah, that is a fantastic point that you bring up. There have been many incidents, either here in the stock car realm or the comparison I made about Formula Vs, of drivers not in the main pack pushing a little bit too hard, risking it for the biscuit or Triscuit if they were just feeling the low-calorie option that day, pushing it a little bit too hard and running into some massive trouble and basically ending any sort of sliver of hope they had at the end. These drivers do have that big reset coming up with the stage, so there's not a whole lot in it to win it here at the moment. And these drivers, there's a lot to lose in the case of them. Benefield still looking to end off this season either as a regular season points champion, which is a little bit unlikely, or just hold on to that P2 spot. He doesn't want to lose out on a massive amount of ground here at the final hurdle. Everybody else involved in that little pack that he's in right now, they're looking for something more. Casey Graves, Eric Wineland not really in the fight, Blake Cluot. Those drivers have very different agendas right now, but they all want to be there at the very end. So they have the benefit of at least a unified goal. The path to get to that goal may be a little bit different, but it is still a unified goal either way.
One big news for the chase cut line. Noah Woods has gone a lap down. Noah Woods in the 56 needed to have a good day today. Absolutely needed to have a good day. Woods cannot be passed by Wild. Like the thing is Woods can only be passed by Foudy. And if Foudy, who already had 8 stage points in stage 1, currently running 14th, continues, and Woods can't get his damage repaired, it's over for that 56 team. And then we don't really have a discussion on that cut line because Foudy, Reiner, Cluot, Graves, and Truel would be able to make it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that has been shifted so far here in this race. Many sort of befuddling moments figuring out how things are going to work out, what may go right, what may go wrong here in this event. As on the subject of things going wrong, I did just receive this word. Joseph McWhorter had a PC freeze on him, so that is why he's no longer in contention in this race.
Well, that's not something you want to have happen to a driver, absolutely. He was having some early speed for sure. Hate to see that happen, but it's a quick update. Blake Cluot has now kind of cemented his place in terms of what he needs to do. He needs to finish at least, without any more stage points, if he has no more stage points, he needs to finish 26th place or better to make it to the chase. And right now, that's pretty dang good odds. He's right now running in P10. If he were to finish in this position, he'd gain 1 extra point and he'd have no problems. He'd even gain 3 spots in the points. It's so close. But again, Kluot needs to finish where he is. He cannot afford to lose any stage points. You need to get all you can get. If I were him, I'd try to get by Wineland even before the end of the stage here in about 8 laps.
Yeah, so just a little bit of time left here in this stage. So these drivers, you know, for a fact, are going to be playing that good little game of cat and mouse. The drivers looking to make some inroads in the points, you know, they're still really going to try and get everything they can out of this race. Now, whether that will be, you know, juicing a ripe lemon versus, you know, trying to draw blood from a stone, we'll just have to find out. But one thing I can say for sure is none of those drivers are going to go down without a fight.
21 just got up and out of the way, and now you can see right there, Kluot moves up to P9, gives him an extra stage point if it's able to finish this way. The 21 of Weiland has really no more shot of being able to make it into the chase. He is going to be out of it this year. He was in last year, had a great run. Unfortunately, not going to make the chase this year round. Up front, not much has changed. This top 8 has really stayed the same, and 9th place on back has not been gaining any ground. So I think we're waiting for the end of the stage. At that point, we'll re-rack them, get new tires, get some damage repaired on some of the cars, and see what happens. But the big story here, again, is Noah Woods. He cannot afford to go 2 laps down, and he's about to get his 2nd lap lost here. He just got passed from the 97. He's now 2 laps down.
Yeah, so that it's really just not going the way of Noah Woods here tonight. That incident, I fear, is going to be a game ender for him in the number 56, and that's such a shame. He's shown some strong speed throughout this race. Was a pretty, I'd say, pretty solid contender as we went through the Dash for Cash a little bit earlier on here in this season. Was a part of those events from time to time, but sadly just hasn't worked out well for him here tonight. And that's part of the reason why this is probably the most controversial race on the NASCAR calendar. Even though we've gone away from the win in era and playoff format, thank God. Even though we're still here, you know, with this race being the end of the regular season, that is when things really, it gets a little bit touch and go. For a driver like Noah Woods, you know, you can look at it and say, okay, well, he had, you know, about 22 more races to try and settle things out a little bit more and have things work in his favor. It's always a double-edged sword when you bring up the discussion about modern plate racing, whether it's good, whether it's tasteful, whether it's tasteless. It's a never-ending battle and discussion in the world of motorsports. But as we keep our eye on this pack, these drivers still looking for the very end.
Well, I got to tell you, Noah Woods, actually, something to mention about him, he's not necessarily out of the run yet. 2 laps down, but he's the first car 1 lap down. So that would imply that at the stage, he is going to get the waiver in. He's going to get the lucky dog. He can come and get a lap back. He'll be 1 lap down if he doesn't get lapped again. That's the number 1 priority here. He cannot get lapped again. If he does, it's over. He's exiting turn number 4 right now as the leader is going to turn 1, so I think he's going to be fine. But now you're starting to see the front pack all shuffle around. Look at this. Here comes Dyson to the outside trying to make a move on Blackley. Blackley was P2 for the majority of that last run, but now he's under challenge. He's getting a push from the 88 of Wiles, trying to push the 41 by on the outside. Oh, contact! Near wrecking on the front of the pack. Luckily able to save the race cars. Grodzicki trying to push that 88 back to the back bumper of the 41, battling side by side for the lead on the exit of turn 4.
We've been munching on ice cubes throughout most of this stage, but now we're finally getting a little bit of heat. Side by side here up at the front, Dyson looking to bounce back after a slightly troubling run in that first stage. Nothing major bad happened, but just a couple of sketchy moments. Looking to have a much better run here at the end of this second stage. Has a good shot to do it. Finding a top side that actually has momentum, though, has been about as rare as a Stradivarius, or about as rare as trying to find a living T-Rex, frankly. However, Dyson, I think he has a chop to try and make it work. We have seen that number 41 car finally grow a set of legs on the ovals, at least compared to last season. He has been a strong contender for race wins week in and week out here in Friday Night Lights.
Well, he's gotten to the outside, and he actually had almost a whole fender ahead of the 97, but that closed up real quick. It's not going to happen this time. That 41 of Dyson is going to lead this lap, and he's going to be clear. If he wants, he can come down. He's clear. Absolutely is, and he's the new leader. Andrew Dyson leads the way here in Daytona. With just 2 laps to go in the stage, got Wiles on the top, Grodzicki pushing him. 97 of Hoytsma knows how to get these end of these races done, but the 41's great at this type of racing as well. It's not necessarily the most fun he has, but he's good at it. He's now going to go up to the top side trying to block Wiles. Hoytsma with a big shove from Blackley. They're going to be side by side into turn 3.
Yeah, the tension rising as you drivers get towards the end of this stage. Gotta wonder exactly how that second row is going to think about all of this. We've talked about the success of Lucas Hoytsma. We mentioned the success of Andrew Dyson. Daniel Wiles still looking for win number 1. He's got a fast number 88 ride. You've also got Matthew Blackley there involved as well. Blackley been really impressive in his sporadic starts throughout this season. I think a win at Daytona would be very good for the part-timer.
It'd be very difficult. He's got 2 laps to try and get this done. Lap and a half down the back straightaway. Right here, big run on the outside. Here comes Wiles. No help, though. It's going to be a little bit of a checkup on the bottom. There goes the 10 car below the double yellow to avoid a big crash. Staying single file for the top 2. Wiles trying to get some side draft here, leaning on him. Grodzicki and Blackley side by side. And look at the 19 in the background. We saw him wrecking earlier. Wiles takes over the lead. He's able to go and push the 41 up to the lead as the 88 goes to the bottom, going for the lead there. 1 more lap to go in the stage. This is it, folks. Going for the win. Turn 1 and 2. Grodzicki on the top. Nowhere near the 41's back bumper. I think Hoytsman's going to get the run on the exit here. Blackley closing in, trying to make a 3-car tandem right here on the bottom. Not enough run at all. The 41's carrying so much speed on the top. 31, 4-car pack on the outside. I think the outside line is going to be the prevailing one. 41 dives down to the bottom. Will Grodzicki follow? Not clear. Here they come out of turn number 4 for the finish of stage 2. Grodzicki to the outside. He's got to run. Grodzicki going to the top side of the 31 of Grodzicki's going to win the stage. Jarek Grodzicki, what a phenomenal move. And Dyson was respectful, let him take the spot. What a finish there. His first stage win of the season, I believe, for Jarek Grodzicki.
And let's take a look at it. That was a very strange final lap and a very interesting run to the end. You can see Dyson just trying to chase his tail a little bit to try and stall at the momentum, but it wasn't enough. That 31, it's like a hobo, was able to hitch a ride on that freight train and go all the way up to the front of the pack. That is how you do it. That bottom side, Daniel Wiles, he got way too wiggly there at the start of that final lap of the stage. Otherwise, I think that may have been a 3-car, 3-wide fight as we got towards the end.
Oh my goodness gracious, folks. That was a good one. Let's take a look at our top 10 results here for stage number 2, rather. Let's take a look here. See stage 2 results on your screen. After 61 laps, got Grodzicki, Dyson, Hutchinson, Wiles, Hoytsma, Hixenbaugh, Blackley, Boston Wheeler. Kluot gets the ever-important 2 extra stage points, and Adam Benefield rounds out your top 10. When we come back, we're going to get the final run to the finish here from Daytona. You're watching Maconi Entertainment. Don't go anywhere. doubled up, ready for the restart here in Daytona for the Friday Night Lights series here live on Maconi Entertainment. Oh boy, we kind of got ourselves a doozy here. Noah Woods just got his lap back. He is one lap down. Looking at this field, he has no one else who is on a similar position as him. He needs to get a wave around. He needs to get a lucky dog to get back on a lead lap to be able to compete to make it to the chase. There's drivers involved. Reiner, who is not even here tonight, could possibly lose out. That is for sure. What would need to happen is they would need to have the 77 of Seth Foudy and the 56 of Noah Woods finish in the top 5. Both of them could make it. That's what they got to do. But Foudy's safe for now. Here we go through the restart zone, back underway. I can tell you right now, I'm looking at the current running position of the 56 of Woods. He is still off the pace, still with a lot of damage. I think he's pretty much done for at this point. But up front, still side by side. You can see Hixenbaugh battling, hanging on to the bottom line. Outside being led by Hoytsma, being pushed by the 41 of Dyson. 4 cars up front, all of them, I think. Everybody in your picture, I think, has Team Conti Sim Performance setups this week.
I am not touching anything to do with setup shops with a 10-foot pole during this broadcast or anyone moving forward. Lucas Hoytsma holding on to the race lead as it stands presently, still has the pack behind him. Again, that 97 car looking to make a statement here in this race. But one other driver whose shoe is on the other side of the foot here, it's the 56 there, Noah Woods. I fear that although he may have gotten some of those dents hammered out on that race car, it's like a cow carcass. Manure still runs to the core. That car is not running good, whether it's suspension damage, the engine may be getting a little bit of a whack as a result of all that. Whatever the deal may be, that 56 just cannot get back up to pace. We'll have to hope for a miracle and a couple of disasters to take place if he wants to try and make it into the playoffs.
That would most certainly put Reiner, Kluot, and Foudy all in. If Woods is unable to get back on the lead lap, that will do it for them. Unless they have problems on the racetrack. They got to finish the race where they are. They cannot afford to get wrecked out. They got to keep it going clean. So it's out of Noah Woods' hands now. It's into everybody else's.
Yeah, that certainly is right now. There's really no more hopeless feeling in the world of motorsports than to not really have control of your own destiny. Odd comparison, but I'll make it either way. I remember as a kid tuning into the NHRA, the National Hot Rod Association, when Antron Brown, the future multi-time NHRA champion, was set to score his first ever championship in Top Fuel competition. He suffered an early accident, and he was waiting to see what his teammates were going to do to see whether or not he was going to win the championship or not. Ultimately worked out in his favor, but there is no more stressful feeling to have to know that your fate is not within your grasp at all. It's not even one hand that you're touching it with. It is no hand at all. That is a scary feeling, especially here at Daytona of all places, although that could maybe be a slight sort of boost mentally, because truly anything can happen here at the World Center of Racing.
So after doing some calculations here, I'm looking at it right now. Seth Foudy would need to finish 23rd or better if Woods finishes 27th where he's running right now. For Kluot in the 14, he would need to finish in, it looks like he's safe. He's pretty much safe at this point, unless he completely wrecks out, in which case he needs to finish 28th or better. So both of those cars cannot wreck. They got to stay out and they got to finish the race, and they will have a pretty dang good shot. But again, up front, the top two are Hoitzma and Hixenball, both fantastic at controlling their lines. Double file, they know it's all about going down and winning the race today. Kluot sitting in a great spot on the outside line right now. Third car on the outside. Remember, he cannot have anything bad happen to him. He cannot afford it. Cannot afford it. Being in the front pack like this, it is ultra dangerous. One bad move like that, holy cow, 97 goes up the block, Hixenball, and now look at Hutchinson take over the bottom line. Hutchinson now up to the lead.
Man, I've seen more bad bumps here in this race than an infected elbow. This is just... It has been constant throughout this event, and boy, that is one of the issues with these O'Reilly cars. Again, the bumps in the draft is a titanic pain in the anus, but these drivers have just really had a hard time matching those bumpers here tonight. It's like trying to do a jigsaw puzzle blind.
Back straightaway still shows the outside line carrying momentum, which is what it's done all night. But going into the corner, that bottom line always bounces back. It's how it always works. The 19 is going to gain a little bit more ground back, and he's going to do it rather quickly. Almost pulling up to the left rear quarter panel of the 97 again of Hoitzma. Not quite enough this time out of turn 4. And what you're going to notice is down this front straightaway, you're going to have cars starting to peek out. Start thinking about, okay, do I start making a third line? Do I think about it? Bottom line's kind of just like stuck. Can't really go anywhere. Outside lines really is going to be where that third lane move might happen, and if it does, you got to be very careful. Inches apart. Very dangerous here at Daytona.
Yeah, somebody call up Kenny Loggins because we are firmly in the danger zone here in tonight's race. The lights are shining brightly on this track, and who's going to pick up the spotlight? It's certainly been Hoitzma throughout this race, but now Ralph Hutchinson looking to try and make his own here in this event. Is trouble there as they're trying to get past Noah Woods, heading their way off through turn number 3 and 4. That once again put him back to 2 laps down, so all of the not hard work, all of the luck, thanks to the lucky dog there in that previous yellow, getting unraveled. Yeah, I have a very strong doubt that 56 car can bounce back.
He's done, absolutely, unless the others have problems. They have to be wrecked out. That's the only way Woods has a shot here. He cannot hit the car. He's kind of at the whim of the other drivers right now. Down the back straightaway, though, I think that they are just inches apart. One mistake could cause a lot of problems here. But that 63 giving a good shot. Oh, now he goes down to the bottom. Look at that move, trying to go for the lead to the inside. He made a great jump down to the inside of Hoitzma. Hoitzma losing some help. And now they're going to have to try and reset up that outside line because it is starting to fall apart.
Yeah, that outside line has almost been like cotton candy in a rainstorm. It has fallen apart at the slightest little hint. But right now, these drivers still keeping it rather strong for a top side that is a little bit weak. It's a heck of a lot better than some of the top sides that we have seen so far here in this race that have been, frankly, as weak as an asthmatic's cough.
At this point, if you're a driver sitting in the middle of this pack, you're looking at Devin Medeiros, for example. He's kind of stuck in a position where he can't go anywhere. Got more drivers like Matthew Boston Wheeler, who has fast lap of the race so far, at least prior to the start of Stage 3. He is in a position where he can't go anywhere. If you're a driver like that, do you think it'll take a lot of patience to try and just wait for the right time for a door to open up, or are you just hoping to God there's no wreck around you?
I can't really get into the mind of these racers to tell you the truth, because at the moment I feel like their agenda is changing turn after turn, lap after lap. Sometimes they're probably hoping for a caution, other times they're hoping just to run through the entirety of these 26 laps.
Look at this, Medeiros trying to shoot it 3 wide in the middle. He's the first car I've seen trying to do that. Now that third lane is starting to develop. Look at William Mullins getting in there. A few more cars. Tanner Marty, all 3 of these guys are racing for Lunar Racing Performance right there. Lunar, all working together, trying to make a middle lane work. But that's got to be dangerous. You're in a position where you're at the mercy of a lot of cars. Got to be very careful. 21's going down the block. Now there are 3 cars on the very far outside line. Big check up middle lane. A couple cars hit the wall. That's Grodzicki's second stage winner up there in the 31. Hit the wall slightly. able to keep it going straight. But he's in a really dangerous spot. 3 wide like this. One little bobble and it's over. Cannot handle that for long periods. 30 car, William Owens still on the back bumper of Medeiros, trying to push him through the center. And that 21 of Wineland just constantly arrow blocking the 20 car, forcing that car to not work. Now that 3 wide is dissolved. 21 got it to dissolve.
Yeah, so just like that, changing the dynamics yet again. Eric Wineland, you know, we think back to last summer's Daytona race where things were looking to finally get into top gear for him. Now he's just looking to get out of first. It's been a brutal run so far here in 2026 for Wineland, one of the standout stars in last season's playoffs, not able to fight his way into the chase here this season. However, right now he will play a determining factor in how this race winds up. 24 laps left to go, and there's still a lot of question marks as we get into the end. Got to think about the strategy, got to think about what these drivers may try and do out there on circuit. There's a lot of different permutations running through their heads right now.
Huge checkup on the outside line. Almost makes it 3 wide. It looks like that they got it back under control for now. The big thing you got to do whenever that happens is just make sure you don't hit anybody. And when you do, hopefully you hit them square. So hard to be able to do it. But the top 2 still side by side. Again, that is Dyson and Hoytsma right there. But look at Kluwat in the 14 trying to control his own destiny, pushing that 97 on the outside line, getting a big old push, and he's trying to make it work. What a great recovery from his first stage run all the way up to P2 now. At the end of this race, he just cannot afford to get in a wreck. He's just got to maintain.
Keep an eye on this formation, flying that bottom side, still having the advantage as that's a 56 of Noah Woods, pulling it down into pit lane. He may be calling it a night there as he'll now officially be 3 laps down here to the field. Major alterations would have to be done to that car for him to remain competitive. That may have just about done it for him.
Yeah, at that point now, he's at the mercy of everybody else. He's going to have to hope for a lot of mistakes from the other cars. Broken motors, blown engines is what he's looking for. He needs chaos. It's not going to work for him otherwise.
That or an earthquake.
That's not possible here, so I think that's not something I'm worried about. Kluwat and the 97 on Hoytsma goes down to the bottom, and now that leaves Blackley with Adam Benefield pushing on the top side, trying to make the outside line work, and Casey Graves sitting in the 01. These guys, the 83 and the 01, were in that second pack and unable to catch the lead pack earlier as the bottom line is starting to prevail a little bit here. Look at Dyson go up the block top.
Yeah, so Dyson in that number 41 car, another driver looking to make a statement here in this event. You look about how things have gone for him so far here in 2026. A 4-time race winner here in Friday Night Lights, and those wins have come at a comparative smorgasbord of racetracks. Last one was at Chicagoland, able to capture his 4th pole and 4th win in that race. Before then, it had been at San Diego, where he was able to capture his 3rd, Watkins Glen, where he got his 2nd win so far here this season, and Circuit of the Americas. So after finally breaking through into an oval win, this feels like a next logical step. And if there's anybody that can maybe challenge that number 97 of Lucas Hoytsma, it is that car on the high side of Andrew Dyson, as this could get ugly with a lap car there. That's a 22 Pepsi Man of Jacob Simpson trying to get out of harm's way here.
Definitely falling back. They're going to have to run a little bit different line to get around that lapper. And it looks like that they do that without any problems so far. Green and green. 22 is able to find a slot. He thinks he's going to try and get in line there. Looks like the outside line behind him is dissolved. But again, Dyson has been doing a phenomenal job up front, being able to switch between lanes. You don't really get a chance to see Dyson up front that often when it comes to super speedway racing, but he's getting better and better at it every single week that he goes out and races on it. And it's just phenomenal what he's able to do. But Matthew Blackley on the top side, what a race for him. You don't get a chance to be able to go out there and compete at the top level that often for the Friday Night Lights Series full-length B cars. You don't get a chance to be able to do that very often. He's leading the outside line with a chance to win the race if he's able to maintain with 18 and a half laps to go. I say he's done a great job so far tonight, but he's just got to hang on to it.
Oh, as every single time I see these drivers bump drive through the turns, I got very uncomfortable. That was the number 83 of Adam Benefiel getting into the back of the 41 of Dyson. Gotta say, Adam Benefield's put on a pretty under-the-radar drive here in this race. Sorry, that was Lucas Heusman getting into the back of Dyson. My apologies here, but the point still remains the same about Benefiel. Really bouncing back after trouble in that first incident, the big one we saw hang down the back straightaway in that first stage. Now holding on to a spot inside of the top 4. And if there's anything that we know about Adam Benefiel, well, there's 3 things. Gives some pretty funny interviews and some funny moments during them. He's a very versatile racer. He can also, set himself up very, very well to succeed in one of these events. So keep an eye on Benefiel as we get towards the end. He may be a formidable contender.
Blackley just got a huge push from Benefiel. Matter of fact, he just got up to the lead. Now he went down in front of Dyson. Dyson goes up to the top, trying to make a pass on him again. Blackley's now stuck on the bottom. He's got a Hoytsma behind him, and he's got a lot of TSCP cars. TCSP, rather. Cars right on their tail. And all I can say is he's got himself a really difficult job here. He's racing with Artemis Esports right now in that 43 machine, racing a bunch of teammates all around him. He's going to need a lot of luck whenever you got that many teammates around you.
In an odd way, it's like being on the International Space Station, but instead of being surrounded by a bunch of fellow astronauts and cosmonauts, you're just surrounded by chickens. That's kind of what we've got going on right now. Not calling those drivers chickens, just saying there's a lot of different ways that this can end for sure.
Whoa!
You feel like you're standing out like a sore thumb.
My goodness, sorry, the 43 just got a big old push from the 97 up the hill, almost hit into the 01 and the 2021. Luckily able to avoid the contact. Blackley getting a run again on the bottom. 3 wide in the tail of the field, nearly a wreck back there, able to keep it going straight. But Dyson getting great pushes from Benefiel. Benefiel and Dyson both have fantastic tire saving abilities. They both are able to win races that way. And they just know how to handle their cars. Great car control out of both of those cars. Leading the outside line. The only thing they need to do is just maintain their position. And it'd be so difficult for anyone to challenge them right now with 15 laps to go when they cross the stripe.
Yeah, and I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop right now. I feel like we've been treated to a very clean final stage so far here, which, considering the, for lack of a better term, crash-happy nature of the first 2 stages, I'm waiting for something odd to go down.
If I was back in the car, I would not hesitate to go up to that 3rd lane. I do like that 3rd lane. I wouldn't probably win the race, but man, I'd try to get something happening. Nobody's trying anything further back. Blackley leading this thing. All these guys up front, they're in a comfortable spot. They're not going to try to put their jobs and their finishing position in jeopardy at all. The drivers that you think that might need to be doing something are drivers like, I say, Wineland or Hicksonball or Medeiros, even Hutchinson, or even Grodzicki. These guys are kind of in the back of the tail end of that front pack, and they need to be able to get to the front somehow. And there's not really anywhere they can go unless they make a 3rd lane.
Now, will they make that 3rd lane, though, is the question. Will they risk it? Because it's a tight squeeze here at Daytona to try and stick it 3 wide. You can do it, but it's going to be a little bit claustrophobic, especially for those drivers in the middle. And as you said, Kirk, would it even work? Because if it's not going to work, I don't think we're going to see these drivers try and do it. It's like trying to hammer a nail with a piece of bread.
Well, I can tell you it's going to happen. You're going to see cars go up to the outside line at some point. It's not if, it's when. There's going to be a moment whenever somebody's going to try something different, try to make it 3 wide. It's just going to happen. We've seen it early in the race. It's going to happen again here at the tail. Right now, though, up front, everybody's pretty content with where they're running. The moment that changes is whenever they feel like they don't have enough time to get from the back to where they are to the front, and they're going to try something desperate. So Blackley, by the way, is in a position where I'm really not envious of. He's got a lot of cars that are really good friends next to him, that not friends with him, not necessarily. That 43 needs to be in a position where he's going to try and maintain the bottom line and try to be up front. But the thing is that winning this race by yourself without a teammate is so hard. You got to get so lucky. And right now, Hoytsma's forced to push him, and he's giving him huge pushes, so much so that he's upsetting the car every time he touches the back bumper. You're seeing him go below the yellow. He's trying to hang on to the car, but Hoytsma just wants him gone.
I fear that in the very near future, Matthew Blackley is going to be left on the steps of the nearby firehouse in a cardboard box with a bow. He's going to be abandoned here very, very soon in this race. And I'm not sure if anybody will try and hitch a ride with him. Certainly this top pack, if they do abandon a car, they're not going to say, oh, we apologize about that, we're going to lay back. No, they're going to chew him up and spit him out. As you can see, things getting a little bit slicey and dicey here between Andrew Dyson and Adam Benefield. A little bit of separation between those cars. I thought he was about to be the one gang abandoned, but not the case.
Yeah, look, the thing is that I don't think it's not necessarily that. They're just trying to advance their position. They're willing to put someone in an awkward Are you okay? Good Lord. All right, sorry. We just heard a loud noise back here on the producer side. Making sure you're okay is all. Okay. Yeah, all right. We are good. Blackley, new leader up front. Hoytsma, P2. Kluot back to P3. Now they're all going up to the outside line. Uh-oh. We're having some changes up front. What is happening? Blackley's got to be in the utmost car control. He's got to be able to manage both lanes. It's going to be hard. Hoytsma going down to the bottom. Blackley stays up top. Now, big run's going to be coming from the bottom lane on the entry to turn one. He's got to be aware of that. Outside line. I really am rooting for him right now. I mean, he's in a position where he's got so many cars that have a different agenda. Can you imagine if that 43 were somehow able to win this race? That'd be crazy. 10 laps to go in this thing, and he's in a good position to have a chance at it. But here comes Dyson to the inside, and you can see he's going for it, but now the third lane looks to almost start there. Kluot was looking up there at a third possible line. They stay single file, too wide. 19's a little loose back there. That's going to lose some momentum on the bottom lane. Those top two are able to scoot out a little bit. Side draft's going to bring him back. Man, it's just back and forth between the top and the bottom lanes.
You know, I will say, Kirk, looking at the history books as to how things went last season and how things are looking here right now. Last season, we had two one-off race winners from the entire season capture the wins in the winter and summer Daytona races. It was Daniel Llewellyn capturing the victory in the February Daytona race back in 2025. Lars Chenoweth was the winner in the summer. Here right now, we've got Matthew Blackley leading, and earlier on this season, Eddie Rose was the one that captured the victory. Real good chance that we repeat here with two separate winners who only get their one and only victories here in this race.
Well, I can tell you right now, it looks like that Blackley is actually currently sitting in a voice chat with Lucas Hoytsma and Casey Graves. Both cars in the same voice chat normally means you're saying something and working together. Medeiros trying to make a third lane back there. I see him going up to the very top on the outside around Wineland. This is the first time we've seen that third lane come back into play again, and it's Medeiros again trying to make a third lane work. He did it the first time. He's trying to do it again. Everybody's going up to the top, and now that just leaves Wineland in the middle as they're still leaning on each other up front. Hoytsma might be helping Blackley, and I think that's what's happening here.
As with 8 laps left to go, these drivers now really getting serious about how they're going to try and tackle the end of this race. But got to wonder whether those cars that have been in the draft for such a longer period of time are feeling a little bit more confident as we get towards the end of this race. Maybe feeling a little bit better on gas, able to stretch their legs just a little bit more. It's an odd position for many of these racers. Familiar, sure, but it is still peculiar nonetheless.
7 laps to go here in this particular race here. The Diet Soda Wars 250 coming up to the end of this thing. And it's go time. This is go time. If you're driving the back of the field, you got to think it's time to go. This is absolutely go time. And this is where the big wreck could possibly happen too. Gonna watch Medeiros. He's able to make it 3 wide a lot. It worked on him. Worked on that 21. This time, the 21's going to the top, trying to make a third lane work back there. There's 2 cars on third lane. Yep, we got third lane starting to develop, but not much momentum in it right now. Both cars falling back. Blackley still leading this thing. with Dyson on the bottom trying to challenge for it.
Yeah, so I am still looking at this pack right now with slightly held breath because I've been in this situation many, many times before. I think back to the Spring Talladega race earlier on this year. Things were going smooth for a while. Then the last lap started and things changed rather quickly. I think back to the finish of the Summer Daytona race last year and how things got there towards the end. I am still waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I feel like when it does, it's not going to be as light and feathery as a flip-flop. It's going to be a steel-toed shoe full of lead dropping down directly on my left eyeball.
Still side by side, 5 laps to go in this particular race, folks. Dyson, with help from his teammate at Hicksonball, round 6, got 2 independents, Hoytsma and Blackley, nose to tail, both most likely with backing from a similar location. We're not sure 100% up here. It does not say on the cars. One of them definitely has it. Great push from Hoytsma. Oh, here comes Benefield making it 3 wide on the top side with some help from Graves. He's way up on the top side. 3 wide for second place. Here we go. This is where it's starting to get heavy right here. 3 by 3. Only 2 cars on the top lane. If they don't get help and they don't get help soon, they are in trouble. They're going to need some help.
Yeah, I feel like that. I was just going to say, I feel like the bus is still in the stop right now, but it's getting close right now as these drivers shuffling like maniacs. I'm still waiting for that other shoe to drop. I gotta say, the bus is now departing. The train is leaving the station. That top side stalling out badly.
Yeah, he needed a lot more people to jump up to that third lane, and nobody else did. It was just him and Casey Graves. Blackley now leading that center lane, and Grodzicki, where did he come from? Tanner Marty's also there. Big checkups in the back of the field. No wrecking. They keep it green. But a lot of cars that were nowhere near the top 5 have now showed up, and they have a chance to win this race just the same as everybody else right now. 4 coming to get 3 laps to go. Blackley's got it. Hoytsma P2. You got Grodzicki P3, Marty P4, and Michael Deitch in P5. Single file for the top 8.
When it comes to the wins, you've got the most dominant driver so far here this season in the form of Lucas Hoytsma, running around a bunch of drivers looking for their very first win here in 2026. This is going to get wild. It nearly ends in tears farther in the back. You can see the number 88 of Daniel Wiles running off the circuit. I saw them 3 wide heading off through the tri-oval. Had a bad feeling about it a half a lap ago. Still have a bad feeling about it right now. If anything is going to end in tears, it is going to be back there.
Absolutely good chance of that happening as we're coming to get 2 laps to go. The pack has separated quite a bit. Up front to the back has a big old gap. What I can say right now is Benefield is the one leading the bottom line, and he's trying to push a charge on the bottom. He's got a little bit of help from some teammates behind him. Blackley leading the outside line with little momentum to none. That bottom lane has a lot of steam. He's developing a lot more steam, but Blackley still able to hang on to the top side. Grodzicki, Marty, Hoytsma, all there, right on his tail. Matthew Blackley would love to get his first win ever. Doing all he dang can. Coming to get the white flag. 1 more lap to go when they cross this stripe. Can the 83 get there? What does the 97 do? What does the 31 do? All comes down to this. What we all come and stayed for. Down to the inside, you can see Grodzicki going down there. He won stage 2. Side by side for a second. Does Blackley stay with Hoytsma or go down to block Grodzicki? He stays with Hoytsma on the top side. Marty's pushing him. Here comes Benefield almost to the back bumper of the 97. Will they go high? Huge push to the back bumper of Blackley. Sideways from the 29. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Into turn number 3. Will Benefield trying to make any moves? Deitch is there. Hoytsma goes to the bottom. Blackley goes down the block. Through the final set of corners. Matthew Blackley, what has he got? He's got to hang on to it one more time. Here we go to the line. Matthew Blackley is under fire. Here comes Hoytsma. Contact sideways. Photo finish, and it's Matthew Blackley able to win the race as they wreck behind them. the 63 wrecking, but Matthew Blackley gets his first win in the Friday Night Lights series here at the end of the regular season. What a phenomenal run to the finish.
And despite the fact they were in the same chat, it was nearly his confidant in this event of Lucas Hoytsma, nearly wiping the both of them out as they headed their way towards the line. But an incredible race from Matthew Blackley, holding off some very competitive cars there towards the end. I thought Lucas Hoytsma had it made. He had such a quick car throughout the night. It's P2 for your multi-time race winner through this season, but it's victory number 1 for that number 43 car. What a way to get it done.
What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a quick check on the points in the meantime to see who's in, who is out. Looking at Kluat, he finished P4 tonight. Great finish for him. He's pretty good. That Woods machine is in a position where it looks like he is going to be out. But that 43 Blackley on the front straightaway, able to get the win. Going to do some burnouts up front. Absolutely. A phenomenal showing, getting his first ever win. He must be so pumped. What a run. Absolutely from him. P28 from Woods. Woods is most certainly going to be out. The 77 of Foudy finishes P12. He is in. That does it right there, folks. Looks like that Noah Woods, Eric Wineland, and Mason Lowery are the ones that are out. Reiner, Foudy, Kluat, Graves, and Truel, all in the bubble, all make it in. Foudy makes his way in. Let's go ahead and take a look at our finishing results on your screen. It is Blackley winning the race over Lucas Hoytsma, Adam Benefield, Blake Kluat, Michael Deach in 5th. Great run for him. Jarek Grodzicki, awesome, a good run for him. Tanner Marty, Bryson Hicksonball, Casey Graves, and William Owens, top 10.
Looking outside of your top 10 here tonight, Andrew Dyson got end up in P11, got hung out to dry there late. Seth Foudy did everything that he could here in this race, battling back after a pretty nasty accident at the start, ends up in 12th. Matthew Boston Wheeler, one of the quick cars throughout the night, didn't talk about him too much, ends up in lucky spot P13. Mason Lowery is in 14th. Wesley Napier, who nearly ended up in a wreck, he ends up in P15. Eric Wineland in 16th. Devin Medeiros there in P17. Bill Hull is in 18th. Kevin Zosiak in 19th, Daniel Wiles running at your top 20.
21st tonight will be the driver of Steve Benjamin, followed by Michael Mesnard and Brian Wertman. Tim Phillips will get 24th. 25th will be Jacob Simpson. Ralph Hutchinson 2 laps down in 26th. 27th, Daniel Wallen. 28th, Noah Woods. 29th, Joseph McWhorter. And Aiden Amaro in 30th with our 31st place finisher, Charles Eaton, here tonight. And Jedi Taylor did not take the start. We're going to go ahead and bring up our winner here tonight, Matthew Blackley. Holy cow. First win from Matthew Blackley. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I did.
Man, congratulations. You won at Daytona, man. How's it feel?
I can't believe it. I owe Lucas my life, first and foremost, but it just doesn't feel real. I mean, I joined this league. I'm like, wow, everyone here is so good. Maybe I can run mid-pack. I'll be happy. And 6th race in my career, and I somehow won. I don't know if it's ever going to happen again, but, you know, it sure feels sweet right now.
Well, you definitely had a great pusher behind you working with you in that independent channel. Lucas Hoytsma sitting there, P2 as well, and a little photo finish with you. Man, I got to ask you, at the beginning of the race, did you all talk to each other and say you're going to work together, or did that just something that came together?
Yeah, we're a group of friends outside of the league, so we were all kind of like, hey, we'll work together. Lucas told me he'd be with me until 4, so, you know, I had that commitment until the very end, and, you know, I didn't have time at the end there, but this is a dream come true.
Oh, man, I'm so proud of you, man. It's so cool to see. I love seeing that happen. It was fun to watch, and seeing you get a win like that, oh, man, it just puts a big exclamation point on the fact that how hard it is, and you definitely got it done. Good for you, Matthew. And anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, of course. I want to shout out all my boys at Artemis Esports, you know, Davis, Ronnie, Nolan. Love those guys. I wouldn't be here if not for them. Shout out my Jesse J. Jones, my former team owner, Patrick O'Keefe, one of my best buddies. And yeah, PRS Setups, best in the business. Won us one tonight. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Matthew. It was a pleasure talking with you, and congratulations on the win. That was Matthew Blackley finishing in first place, his first P1 ever in this series. But Lucas Hoytsma comes home P2. He's going to be with Ron.
Yeah, Lucas Hoisma joining us here in the broadcast booth. Lucas, welcome in. It's second place for you here at Daytona, but a very well-composed drive. Quick car throughout the night. How was it out there?
Yeah, I felt pretty good. Got some stage points today. Ran up front a lot of the race. I kind of lost some in the first stage, making a bad move. That's all it takes really in this package. I went to the bottom, or I think it was the top, and we just had no momentum, and I dropped back. But I flipped the stage in a way, got back up to the front. Kind of that helped me stay up there the rest of the race, and got to push a good friend to the win. So that's always a really good feeling.
Yeah, so it's got to feel nice. I want to ask you now that we stand at the precipice of the chase about your regular season. Multiple wins here so far, 5 wins on the books, but a couple of bits of inconsistency, occasionally not showing up to some of these races. So as we look ahead to the final run to the checkered flag of this season at Homestead, once we get off into the fall, what are the goals? What are the expectations as we head our way now through the chase?
Well, I'm going to give it my best shot. I wasn't really intending on running 4 points, but it's just kind of landed in my lap here. I think I should have 5th going into the chase. So I guess I'm going to give it my best shot. A lot of good tracks in there for me. And I don't know. Yeah, this has turned out to be my stronger series this year. I wasn't really expecting that. So, I'll take it.
Yeah, I do want to actually ask you about the Cup Series because in between the last time we got to cover this series a few weeks ago and this broadcast here, already have had 2 Cup races and going to be rounding off the Cup regular season here in about 24 hours time on the channel. You're currently 3rd in the points over there. You think that's going to be kind of the same sort of style of racing that we had here into tonight's race? A little bit on the aggressive side. How do you think it's going to be for the Cup race tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little racier tomorrow. Tonight it was, it was momentum based, right? So you had to run, the whole line of cars would go with you, and it took a while to generate. But the Cup car, it can come out of nowhere, and the side draft is crazy. I think it's going to be a lot crazier tomorrow night, but it's a lot of good guys in there. I'm sure we could have a nice clean race like we did tonight.
And certainly looking forward to seeing that action here on Maconi Entertainment in just 24 hours time. But Lucas, before we let you go and celebrate this second place run, we'll let you give any thank yous or shout outs.
Yeah, just first and foremost, shout out to Matt Black on his first big league win. So super happy for him there. Everybody at Kansas City Pioneers, Price Chopper, Coca-Cola, Team Conti, of course, for the another hot rod this week. We were fast on that thing. Definitely could have won the race on it. And you guys and everybody who puts this thing on and broadcasts it, it's always a good time.
Yeah, it was a treat throughout tonight, an incredible finish. And I thought of this line of reference to Matthew Blackwell getting the victory. He wanted there was a red trophy, but he wanted it painted black. But Lucas, still a great drive for you here to walk away with second place. Thank you for joining us here in the booth. And we'll see you out there in the Cup car in about 24 hours time.
Yes, sir, man. See you there.
Yep, take it easy. That right there was Lucas Hoitzma, our P2 finisher. Kirk, I'll pass the mic back off to you.
Adam Benefield, Kirk Mills up here in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, P3. You had yourself. You're the only one making 3 wild moves up front at the end of that thing. I love seeing that. I love seeing trying to get anything you can, just trying to get everything you can. You ended up getting a P3 out of it. Talk me through your day, man. How's it feel to get a top 3 this afternoon?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. I had to go for broke right there. I had my back against the wall for the regular season championship, and going off what Bryson told me, I needed to win and kind of try to, just win really and hope that something happened to him or whatever. So I was probably more aggressive than normal, but good God, I hate riding. I hate riding in a freaking line. It sucks. I just it's so boring. I hate this style of racing. I'm not built for it. It's God, it's terrible. But we got to do it 4 times a year. So yeah, we'll take a P3.
Absolutely, man. I'm with you on that. I understand the concept. But got to ask you, man, anybody you want to shout out for the P3 finish this afternoon?
Just everybody at TCSP, All the admins tonight. Admin Tower. I think he was half asleep. I don't know why we didn't get a caution that one wreck right there when you had 90% of the field spread all over the racetrack. But everybody over here, Bobby, Bryson, Jedi, and gotta give a shout out to Kevin, my boy Kevin. It wasn't a win, but these P3s for him. Hopefully we'll get the win tomorrow night when everybody's watching. So I don't know. Ready to get the hell away from this super speedway crap
and get back to some difficult racing, as they would put it. Anyway,
yeah.
Man, thanks so much for talking with us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you got it. Well, that was our top 3 finishers this afternoon. We'd like to thank them for coming in and chatting with us here live on Maconi Entertainment. Ron, final thoughts before we head out to wait for tomorrow.
Well, the regular season is now officially done and dusted, but we've got another track that starts with D next time out, and these drivers not going to have an easy test on their hands. Darlington to start off what is going to be a very competitive, and I gotta say, very thrilling chase. We have got ourselves one heck of a championship points battle, and I gotta say, and this is honest, Adam Benefield, usually whenever he's down like that, he bounces back strong. A ticked off Adam Benefield is a fast Adam Benefield, so keep an eye on him to maybe pull off a real good result next time out at Darlington, a track he won at last season too.
Well, I do appreciate that. Thank you so much, Ron, up here in the booth with me, Kirk Mills, Ron Mounts, and of course, Hallie Burrows, our producer this afternoon from Maconi Entertainment. We say thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same place, here in Daytona.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.